Oh, today is gonna be a Thursday Torque Talk. I got my co-host here in the house. Yeah, you want some camera time too? You want some camera time too? Go ahead and get you some camera time. All right, so check this out. A Thursday Torque Day. Why? Because here's what we're gonna talk about. We're gonna talk about torque, which is the ability to pivot, but I'm not just talking about car torque. I'm talking about the real power behind every pivot in a man's life. This is your midlife pivot. So have you ever drove a car with no torque? I mean, it looks good and it may sound tough, but when you hit the gas, nothing moves. And that's how most men operate. They are all horsepower engine, but they have no pull. They're like some dudes on a dyno. That's all they are. Now, I've spent over 20 years in the automotive industry, 18 years being involved with automotive powertrain, so I know a little something about torque. Not to mention, I've been racing cars since, well, all right, technically since I was 16 in Dad's Bonneville, but you know, that's a story for another day. But I know torque, and torque is all about what gets a vehicle moving under resistance. So let's break it down for a moment. If we look at a Tesla Cybertruck, and I got a video that's well over 100,000. Everyone is looking at this Cybertruck that smoked this Mustang like mine. So let's compare the torque of that. And of course, it's for people who know cars, it shouldn't be surprising, but everybody gets hyped up about the torque of electric vehicles. So a Cybertruck is producing about 864 pound-feet of torque. Now, that's like launching a big old freight train with some instant brutal power. It's moving now, it's not waiting. That's the advantage of a battery electric vehicle. Now my Mustang GT, yeah, it's doing about 410, 420 pound-feet of torque. That's some classic muscle. The kind of torque that leads you off, but it really builds as you rev. It's controlled, it's deep. Controlled, it's deep. I like to say it's full of soul. And then you got something like a Tesla Model Y. You know, my doc is always talking about we should do some videos of me racing him in his Tesla, and you know, I know somebody else with a Model Y. So, you know, they try to pick on some of the internal combustion engine cars, but it's still not really fair. Even though the Model Y may be producing about 375, and anywhere depending on what edition you have, almost 490 pound-feet of torque. Now they all move, but the type and the timing of the torque is what really makes the difference. That's what defines performance, both on the road, but also in your life. But let's look at another part of torque, life torque. Zoom out for a minute. You got two men, both of them 55. Both men have been laid off or let go at their gigs, right? One says, I guess that's it. I'm done. It's over. I might as well call it a day. That's a dude that really doesn't have any torque, because he can look back at his past life. He's like the dude on the dyno. He has an impressive resume. It sounds good on somebody's video. You hear, but it's not going anywhere. But then you got the other guy. He pivots. He may start some online work, starts changing and seeing how, okay, what skills do I have in this new environment? Because my old skills, I've been pushed out the job market. We've seen that happen whether we're talking blue collar or white collar. You know, he adapts. He figures out how to reinvent himself. That's a man that's full of torque. One may be angry and stays angry. Another one starts making some money. And the same event, but they both have a different response to curve. Just like you see on a torque layout, even on a dyno, they have a whole different response. Which one are you? That same thing can go on. One man gets a divorce, and that man gets cleaned out. His ex goes scorched earth, or he goes scorched earth, and he's just like, forget it. I'm done. I'm going MGTOW or whatever. I hate all women, whatever his thing may be. He checks out. And he feels like there's no recovery, and he's just mad at women, mad at life, mad at the kids, mad at etc. But another man is determined to rebuild. Another man is willing to just go ahead and write that check every month, pay that X. You know, it's the cost of doing business. But just as companies do, and I know about this, If you think about it, the company often offers a severance package. And why do they do that? Is it because they're being nice? No. They may offer a severance package because they realize it's still easier to pay you for a few months or maybe even a year and let you go long term than to keep you around. And sometimes that's the torque response and the curve that you have to have when you have to let that woman go and you have to go ahead and move on with your life. It's the cost of doing business. Which torque response are you going to have? But let's look at torque and how it applies to your fitness as well. Because let's shift to the body. If you want to really do more torque, you would do squats, Bulgarian split squats, even sled drags, more than you would do something like leg extensions. While leg extensions may work, you're sitting in the machine and it's working your knees, hopefully not too bad, but it's working your quads at the knee joint. It's what we would call a single joint exercise. But it doesn't really teach your body how to move under tension. So torque training isn't just for size, it builds real world power. That's why people tell you to do squats or deadlifts over leg extensions and a bunch of single joint movements. It's the kind that protects your joints and improves your balance and really keeps you resilient when life hits. When you have to, there's really nothing that we do, even getting up out of the chair requires you to move multiple joints, not just sitting down on a machine or one piece of exercise equipment. So, you don't need more horsepower. Because again, horsepower does have its place. But what you need is more torque. That's the kind that launches you out of regret. It launches you out of stagnation. It launches you out of just potential. It gets you going under tension. And build it in your core, build it in your character, and use that resistance as leverage. Use that, and that's the good part about sometimes when something is pressing up against us, we can push back and now use that as leverage to stand up and continue moving. Drop me a line in the comments if you generate some torque in your life this week. Join and follow the Iron Father, because we don't just want to spin wheels here. We want to use the resistance that's coming up against us in life to go ahead and move on to that next level. Let's move some mountains. Recalibrate, restore, and thrive. That's the motto. So let me know, drop me a comment below on maybe your experience, and reach out to me if you want some help in using some resistance that now has come up in your life to push off of that and use that torque. And maybe you'll be more like a Mustang. It's going to create that resilient torque. It's going to be long lasting and sustaining instead of just one big fat emotional high that some of those battery electric vehicles give you that everybody wants to talk about. Till next time, it's the Iron Father. I'll holler at y'all later. Peace.